Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Talks in Class. I'm Jenna. So glad that you're joining me today on this little weekly journey through time. If you are watching on video, you can see that I'm coming to you from my bedroom floor today. My husband and I are both working from home today and we have a shared desk, so I am making do with this little situation. I was actually planning to be on a plane right now heading back to Wisconsin to visit my mom, which I do every couple months, but in true Wisconsin form, they're getting a snowstorm today. And with all these recent just like nightmare travel stories about flying and everything else that I've been seeing all over the news, I decided not to risk it. So I'm gonna go next month, which is fine. I was though looking forward to a little visit to the time capsule bedroom. If you are new, my mom still lives in my childhood home. And my old bedroom back there has become kind of a storage unit / bedroom, and it houses all kinds of just stuff from my childhood and even teen years, everything from toys to clothes, and that's where I find a lot of the stuff that I use for my videos. I had planned to specifically look through my American Girl doll accessories collection this visit, which I believe is in the basement, because ever since the 90s American Girl doll was released, I've been curious to see what accessories I have left over from the Girl of Today doll that was actually released in the 90s. So when I visit next month, I will take a look to see what's there, and if it's anything good, I'll make a video and show you guys. Aside from potentially getting stranded in the Chicago airport and avoiding that by canceling my flight, what good happened this week? As you guys know, since we've been in LA, we've been doing a lot of activities, which is a little bit unlike us, but I think one of the most fun and exciting things about just being in a new place, moving to a new place, is exploring all these different things to do. Not that there's ever any shortage of things to do in New York City, but after almost 10 years, you just kind of get to the point where you feel like you've done all of the things that you really want to do. So anyway, we've been having a blast just kind of doing different things and exploring different neighborhoods and all that kind of stuff. And earlier this week, we went to see a screening of the movie Matinee, which is from 1993. And I feel like this movie really flies under the radar, but it's so good. It's really funny. John Goodman is in it. The kid from Hocus Pocus is in it, like main kid from Hocus Pocus. And it takes place during the Cuban Missile Crisis in Key West, but it's just about this guy who makes scary movies and kind of the gimmicks that he uses to sell his movies, but it's mostly about the kids, I would say. So there was a screening of it with a Q&A with the director afterward earlier this week, and we went, and my husband's just a huge movie guy, so this is just like his thing. He likes all the nerdy industry talk and the behind the scenes stuff about production. But I just really love to see especially older movies in an environment like this, especially comedy movies, like things that people are going to laugh at, whether they're intentionally funny or not. Just with an audience of people who have probably seen it before and are just really there to like laugh and have a good time. It's such a different experience than watching it at home. And this was a good crowd. Everybody was laughing a lot and just having a lot of fun. Even as someone who, for the most part, is very happy being at home often. I do work from home 99% of the time, so it's nice sometimes to go out and do something that you could do at home around people, sometimes. So last week, when I was deciding what topic to discuss on the pod, I put it up to a vote on Instagram, and it was between teen jobs from the 2000s and college life in the 2000s. And the voting was super, super close. I think jobs won out by 1 or maybe 2%. So I covered jobs last week. And this week, I'm going to talk about college life way back in the olden days, as the kids say, AKA the year 2005. But before we talk about the good old days in college in 2005, I want to share another tip for those of you who are using my clothing rental service, the Jenna Barclay Style Box. There are a lot of ways to help organize the items that you like and may want to rent, and just to help keep your items in constant rotation so that you can always have something fresh and something new. First, and this is super important, To make sure that you get your next box as soon as you return your items, make sure to keep a lot of stuff in your virtual closet on the website. Availability always changes for each individual item in each individual size, just based on how many people are looking to rent those items. So making sure that your closet is really stocked full of options will help ensure that you get your next shipment right away and there's no delays as soon as you return a box of items to get the next box. I always keep 20 or more pieces in my closet, usually a lot more, but remember that you can always mark items as priority to help signal the system which pieces you want sooner rather than later. You can also place items on hold, so the system will not send those items to you, but it's a nice way of keeping them saved so that you can easily move them into your closet at any time when you're ready. For example, I currently have 58 pieces in my virtual closet, and of those 58 pieces, 14 of them are marked priority right now. These are things that are seasonally appropriate or items that I may want to have available to rent for upcoming events that I know I'll want a new outfit for. And in addition to those 58 items, I have another 24 items on hold. These are mostly summer items that the weather's just not quite there yet. So I know I won't receive any of those items in an upcoming box until I move them into my closet, but I have them easily accessible for when I'm ready to do that. The more you use these different features, the more you'll learn how to best customize your experience with the Style Box. Your first month is always free, so that's a great way to really try it out and allow yourself some time to play around with these features and get a feel for it. To try it out for yourself, head to jennabarclaystylebox.com and just click Get Started. Your first month free will automatically be applied. Enjoy. Let's travel back in time, shall we? All the way back to the fall of 2005. In the fall of 2005, Laguna Beach was must-see TV. Brown was the hot color for fashion. Chunky metallic woven belts were the hot accessory. We all learned to code so that we could personalize our MySpace pages. When you wanted to dress up, you threw on an Abercrombie polo shirt or maybe two. You popped the collar and put on your best non-ripped jeans. The mall was still the center of the universe, and the class of 2005, including me, started college. I think it is safe to say that the world has definitely changed quite a bit in the past 18 years. That hurt a little bit to say 18 years. I started college 18 years ago. But some parts of the college experience do feel a little timeless and universal. Living in the dorms and having to share a room with a complete and total stranger, which is so bizarre. Going to the dining hall for some questionable mac and cheese, skipping your Friday morning classes after a particularly rough, thirsty Thursday night out. But I think it's safe to say that a lot has probably changed too. Probably a lot more has changed than has stayed the same. When I started college in 2005, we still had our laptops hardwired into the walls of our dorm room in order to access the internet. We did not carry them to class with us because they needed to be plugged into the wall to access the internet. We were still ripping CDs on our computers from the campus library so that we could then load the songs onto our brand new iPods that we probably got for high school graduation. Or spending hours renaming our LimeWire downloads in iTunes so that they would show up correctly on our iPods under like gym playlist. We carried a flip phone and a digital camera inside our giant Kathy Van Zeeland purses with us to frat parties. And of course, we were on Facebook when a college email address was still a requirement to join. To give you a better idea of the full experience of college in 2005, when I was a freshman in college, which was the 2005 to 2006 school year, a typical day in my life went something like this. I would wake up in my lofted bed in my dorm room that was literally hanging from the ceiling with chains. Did anyone else have this situation in their dorm room? It was not a bunk bed type structure. It was very literally a platform suspended from the ceiling from just metal chains with a mattress on it, like a piece of wood hanging on chains with a twin mattress on it. No railing on the side so that you could fall out. I mean, it's a miracle I never fell out. I definitely heard stories about people who did fall out though, because there was no railing to hold you in. And to get into the bed, I remember I would step onto the railing of the futon was under my bed, and then I'd put my other foot on my dresser, which was next to it, and then sort of just like slither onto my bed. Mind you, it was maybe 2 feet from the ceiling, so you literally had to slither like a snake on your belly to get into the bed and not knock yourself unconscious. I mean, this has to be some sort of safety liability issue, but this is how my dorm room was set up. Anyway, I would wake up in this lofted chain bed structure about 30 minutes before class started. I would walk down the long hallway to the shared bathroom. Our dorm's still like this. The bathroom in my dorm was basically a locker room, and it was shared with the entire floor. And I happened to live on the opposite end, so it was a hike. So it had, toilet stalls, like a public restroom, a few showers that looked like the shower stalls at a municipal pool, and then a row of sinks and mirrors. And you'd have to wear plastic flip-flops in the showers to make sure you didn't get some sort of like foot fungus all over your feet. That was a very big deal that we were all afraid of, and we all made sure that we had the sandals. So I'd walk down the hallway in my plastic flip-flops, and they'd smack, smack, smack with every step down this long hallway, carrying my little shower caddy with my Clean and Clear morning burst cleanser and toothbrush in it. I'd wash my face, definitely not apply any moisturizer, brush my teeth, and then smack, 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 smack in my flip-flops back to my room, where I would then get dressed for class. This was 2005, so my uniform for class was usually one of two things. Either Victoria's Secret pink sweatpants, which I always bought during the semi-annual sale in every color of the rainbow, and I usually had the ones that were the ugliest because I would buy the sale ones. So I had like the lime green pink pants that were lime green but that said pink down the leg in yellow. And then I would pair these with a hoodie, probably from Hollister or American Eagle, Uggs, of course, and a North Face. A North Face fleece in the fall or spring, or a North Face puffer coat in the winter. Or the other outfit option, which was a little bit nicer, was some pair of super ripped up jeans. I mean, torn to shreds is a better description. Again, probably from Hollister, maybe Abercrombie if I was feeling fancy. A t-shirt, or maybe like a long sleeve Henley that was way too long and kind of see-through that I would layer over a cami. And my pink suede knockoff Birkenstock clogs that I bought from American Eagle. What a fit. Once I was dressed, I packed my tote bag for class. Always a tote, never ever a backpack. That was not cool. This is why I have shoulder pain as an adult, but the free tote from Victoria's Secret for some reason was cool, but a backpack wasn't. I don't know. It was 2005. So I'd pack my books and my notebooks or whatever because we took notes on actual paper with an actual pen. Nobody ever brought a laptop to class in those days. So I'd pack up my books and my paper, my notebooks, whatever, and my iPod that I would listen to on the way to class. And then, of course, I had to bring my giant Nalgene water that I bought at the campus bookstore. And I still don't know how we drank out of those things. The mouth opening was like the size of my face. And I remember walking around campus and like trying to take a drink of water, and I would just essentially dump it all over my face. Same thing at the gym. I would try to drink it while I was on the elliptical. It would just go all over my face. But we had to have this Nalgene bottle. After I packed my tote bag, I would queue up my latest playlist that was recently downloaded from LimeWire to iTunes to my iPod, and I would head out to class as My Humps or something played in my ears. I actually remember my freshman year, I took this class that was in one of those huge lecture halls, and it had a balcony. So my friend and I would sit in the balcony because we thought no one could see us. And we would sit and watch episodes of The OC on the tiny little screen of her iPod. I guess she downloaded them online somehow. I have no idea, but I can only imagine how long that would take to download full episodes of a TV show, considering it took us 24 hours to download a 2-minute song. But anyway, when I wasn't watching TV shows on our tiny early generation iPods during class, I was taking notes in an actual notebook with an actual pen while the teacher projected slides if they were fancy, but most likely they just wrote on the whiteboard. And that was our class experience. I mean, this alone makes me feel so ancient. There was really just very little technology in the classroom in those days. It was a whiteboard and paper. In between classes, I would head to the dining hall for lunch. I rarely personally went to the more traditional kind of buffet cafeteria style dining hall where you could swipe your meal plan once and get pretty much anything you wanted. I preferred the fancier feeling dining hall where you had to buy each meal individually. I don't know what other campus meal plans were, but we had these different options. I remember that there was a stir fry station that I frequented, and I thought that I was being very healthy because the stir fry had a lot of vegetables in it. But now that I think about it, it was like rice and oil and then a few vegetables. Or I would hit the salad bar for some iceberg lettuce just smothered in ranch and a side of pasta salad. A lot of nutritional value there. One of the most beautiful things about college is that my day was done by 2 p.m. or something every single day. We were done with class by 2 p.m. And yes, I understand that this is because we had homework. So in an ideal world, you would finish class and then you'd go back to your dorm or maybe even to the library and you'd actually do your work for a while, but no one did that. We had things to do, okay? Lots of important items to check off the list after class. When I finished class, most days I would do one of two things: the tanning salon or the campus gym. Some days I would head to the tanning salon that was conveniently located right off campus. It was like across the street from campus. And I remember their unlimited tanning package was insanely cheap, so everybody went there, but it was really, really small and the beds were always really hot because it was so busy. So you'd wait and then you'd climb into the bed and practically be sitting in the person before you's burnt skin because they got out of the bed, 30 seconds before you got in, but everybody went there. And then other days, I would put on a nice pair of sooooo shorts and roll the waistband 3 times, put my hair in a messy bun literally on top of my head, and go to the campus gym where I would spend 30 to 45 minutes on the elliptical and then, maybe do 7 crunches on the mat in the corner and call it a day. Sometimes my friends and I would do ab workouts that we saw in magazines like Shape or Self. I mean, these were the days even before Pinterest. It was certainly the days before you could find a workout on social media. So if we wanted advice about something like fitness, we had Self and Shape magazine. Though that's where we got our workouts. So we'd be at the campus gym with our giant Nalgene bottles and our sooooo shorts with like Self magazine with Heidi Klum on the cover doing, bicycle crunches because the magazine told us that would give us flat stomach. Oh my God. However, this was 2005, so it was really all about cardio. The dominant discourse at that time about anything having to do with women's fitness was all about like slimming and toning. It was just this very thin as in diet culture crap that was so pervasive in the 2000s. And I feel like this was such a big thing on college campuses. It was so apparent looking around the campus gym that all the guys were in the weight room and all of the girls were on the cardio floor. So we just did endless cardio. We'd be on that elliptical for like an hour, like running in circles. My campus gym had a track that went like around the top of it, and we would just run in circles around that indoor track for like ever. Meanwhile, we were existing on a steady diet of, Keystone Light, Easy Mac, and dining hall waffles. So like not exactly the recipe for health, but what did we know? We only had magazines and TV models to tell us what to do. I used to even buy the generic Walmart brand Slim Fast shakes, and I would keep them in the little mini fridge in my dorm room along with the Diet Sprite that I mixed with my UV vodka. And that's what I would have for breakfast every single day. Like shamelessly walking around campus drinking a great value chocolate weight loss shake at 19 years old. After the gym, it was time to head back to the dorm and get ready for the night. The evening's activities really depended on the night of the week. Obviously, during the week was a little different than on the weekend. During the week, which in college is only Monday through Wednesday, maybe Sunday through Wednesday, we would usually meet in someone's dorm room for some sort of TV night. So we had American Idol night, we had Laguna Beach night, whatever TV show was on that night, we would go to somebody's dorm room and all hang out and watch the show. As you probably know, you are not, in fact, allowed to drink alcohol in the dorms, but this is college and we did not care. we would sneak some cheap vodka into the dorm and put it in some little water bottle. And then we'd all put on our best sweatpants and grab our, cheap vodka, head over to someone's room, get comfy on the futon or on the floor, order some disgusting cheap, Little Caesars or Papa John's pizza, and then take shots passing around this water bottle while we watched Carrie Underwood belt out a ballad on American Idol. And this was just, Monday night or whatever night American Idol was on, keeping it low key. However, if it was a weekend, which again in college is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday, it was a very different story. Weekend nights meant going out. And there was a whole process for the going out nights. First, of course, was getting ready, and then there was the pregame. The pregame was very important because you could not show up to the party too early, but naturally we wanted to start drinking early because we needed to drink as much alcohol as we possibly could for some reason. Then there was the party. Then after the party, there was somehow acquiring junk food, eating it, and going back to your dorm and going to sleep. Always, this was the process. This was the schedule that we followed. So once we picked out our super cute and entirely not weather appropriate outfit that we were going to wear out for the night, we would pile a bunch of girls into a very tiny dorm room to pregame. I can't stress enough how small our dorm rooms were when I was in college. There was this just overcrowding problem at the university that I went to, and a lot of the ones that my friends went to as well. So I remember one of my friends lived in a room that was meant to be a single dorm, but they had converted it into a double. It was so small, you guys, you could barely walk in there. But again, we're in college. We don't care. We pile all these people into these little tiny rooms and we would pregame, which again, just generally meant taking shots of Fleischmann's vodka from a water bottle that you just prayed you didn't mistake for actual water the next morning. And we would do this while we blasted Pussycat Dolls or Black Eyed Peas or Sierra songs or whatever from someone's clunky laptop in the corner and looked through pictures on MySpace or Facebook. The dorm pregame really was an art though. You had to keep it just quiet enough and just brief enough to have fun but not get busted by the RA. This was really important. I'm not really sure what would happen in real life if an RA actually caught you drinking. I don't think I ever knew anyone it happened to, but I know it wasn't good. So when you reached a certain level of tipsy and everyone started to get loud, it was time to go. You had to get out of there. Once we reached that point, we'd grab our teeny tiny, fake fur trimmed bomber jacket from Hollister or wherever, and we'd head out into the 20-degree night to walk a few blocks off campus to wherever the party was for the night. I need someone to tell me what college parties are like now, because I really wouldn't be surprised to learn that they're exactly the same, more or less, than they were in 2005. I feel like this is just one of those things that feels timeless. You know what I mean? Drinking cheap beer in a disgusting, dark basement while people dance and play flip cup. It just feels like a universal college experience. There were a few different options for parties, of course. There were big house parties, these kind of like big occasion parties. There were frat parties. There were smaller, just kind of group hangs where we would hang out in someone's apartment and play, ride the bus or around the world or whatever on someone's hand-me-down coffee table that they got from their great aunt. But most of the time, it was the classic Midwest basement house party. My freshman year, I went to the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse, and if you have ever been to La Crosse, Wisconsin, it is classic college town. There are so many big, disgusting houses with even more disgusting basements where college kids have been living and partying for generations. So this is where we did most of our partying, was in the basements of these houses. And it had to be in the basement because it was less likely to get busted by the cops. If you were upstairs, it was loud, you could see in through the windows, so you had to confine the majority of the partying to the basement. So you'd pile into said basement, which It can't be overstated how disgusting these basements were, okay? They were like damp, dirty, unfinished basements that these guys, it was always a guy's house because a girl would never have a party like this. The guys would string up Christmas lights maybe on like one wall, and then there'd be a piece of plywood being used as a beer pong table on one side of the room, and then the other side there'd be just like people dancing. It was not a dance floor, it was just people dancing. And then there would be a big like Rubbermaid garbage can that either had a keg stuck in it, or even worse, a big Rubbermaid garbage can that people would make trash can punch in. And if you have never had trash can punch, don't do it. Okay? Take it from me. Listen to your elders. Trust me, it never ends well. And even worse, if it's in a bathtub, run. Just leave the house. Go somewhere else. It's not worth it. You'd pile into said basement with all your friends. It's 20 degrees outside. It's 104 degrees in this basement because there are, 45 people in this little tiny room that is probably meant to hold 6 people. You'd pay $5 for your red Solo cup, which allowed you to drink from the keg until it inevitably ran out, usually around midnight, if not before. The thing about college that's so truly unbelievable to me, looking back, is, we partied so hard and we still managed to function. It's truly remarkable because you'd get to this party, you've already taken, 7 shots of Fleischmann's vodka in your dorm room. You get to the party, you start throwing back the warm, cheap, disgusting keg beer. Then somebody else has some mystery liquor. You start drinking that too. And it's just like another night. We would be so sloppy, hot mess express by the time we left these parties. We were so sloppy that we frequently would attempt to walk through the drive-thru at Taco Bell, despite it being a well-known fact on campus that this Taco Bell would not serve you if you walked through. Everybody knew this, and we still tried. We would try on Friday night. They would tell us no. They would yell at us and tell us how unsafe it was for us to be walking through the drive-thru. Saturday night, we'd be back there. I feel really bad for these Taco Bell employees. I apologize. Anybody out there who happened to work at Taco Bell in La Crosse near campus in 2005 through 2007, my sincerest apologies. And then after we secured whatever junk food we ended up getting, usually because we failed at Taco Bell, my friends and I would go to the Little Caesars that was near campus and get a $5 hot and ready pizza, which we would carry back to our dorms and then eat before we would toss our little sequin shrug on the floor, throw ourselves into our loft bed hanging on the chains, somehow not fall out, and then just get up the next day like nothing happened and do it again. Maybe we'd have like the slightest hint of a hangover. We'd hit the dining hall for a nice greasy breakfast or walk to the gas station for a Gatorade to sip while we casually uploaded 90 blurry pictures from our digital camera into a Facebook album titled Thirsty Thursday. And I think it goes without saying that those days truly feel like another lifetime to me. It's almost unbelievable that they happened. So I'm going to wrap up this episode with a list as usual. And today I'm going to share my top 5 college memories that to me feel so 2005. Number 5, wearing head to toe brown for a night out. I have a photo of myself when I went to visit friends in Madison at the University of Wisconsin in the fall of 2005. I am wearing a brown kind of satiny lace trim tank top with a brown sequin shrug over it, a brown beaded necklace that had multiple strands of beads that were all different shades of brown, a stack of gold and brown like beaded bangles all up my arm, jeans, brown wedges, like fake suede wedges, and a giant metallic gold purse. It is the most 2005 outfit I've ever seen in my life, and I just remember thinking that outfit was the best thing I had ever laid eyes on. Like when I put that together, I thought, yes, I cannot ever in my life, as long as I live, cannot think of a better outfit than this. And it was 98% brown. Number 4, dropping your digital camera in a toilet at a party. This was the most tragic thing that could happen, really. And somehow this happened to almost every single one of us. You would think that we would learn from each other's mistakes, but no, it happened to all of us. I personally think that I held the record for most digital cameras lost to toilets out of my friend group. I lost a lot of digital cameras. RIP to my hot pink Nikon Coolpix. She led a good life. Number 3, wearing your giant, thick, heavy iPod in an armband to the campus gym and then spending your entire workout just pulling the thing up, trying to keep it from sliding down your arm from all the sweat. I remember I also used to wrap my headphone cord around the armband several times and then plug it in and then thread the headphone cord up through my bra strap and then behind my neck to have it stay in my ears so that the cord wasn't smacking me in the arm the entire time while I was running. But then I'd be running on the treadmill, the armband sliding down my arm, and it would unplug the headphones. I mean, no part of this system worked. But I used this method for years until I figured out it was just easier to hold the iPod in my hand. Number 2, making weekend plans with your friends entirely via very public posts on each other's Facebook walls. Because again, in our day, as millennials will love to tell you, you had to be a college student to get on Facebook. So it didn't feel like a security issue that we were publicly posting exactly where we were going, when we were going to be there, complete with addresses, full names, first and last, of everybody involved. I mean, really, we just left a trail, a paper trail of all of our comings and goings right on our Facebook wall. It wasn't even in a message. And finally, number 1, taking all of your midterms and finals on Scantron sheets with a number 2 pencil. Because computers in the classroom, again, were not a thing yet. So everything had to be done on paper. This was a long time ago, kids. These were the dark ages. I'll definitely have to do more episodes about college experiences and kind of different college experiences that I had in the 2000s. I did do an episode already about sorority life in the 2000s, which I will have a part 2 eventually because there's more to say on that. So let me know what else you're curious about as it pertains to college life in the 2000s, and I will definitely come back with more of that. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend who might also like it. I always appreciate when you guys share these episodes with other people. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. I will be back next week. I will see you all then. Bye.